Hey, my friends, it's Randy here with a afternoon dose of Be Refreshed. And today we're talking about balance and how to let life get better. We're talking family. So everybody's got one, right? We've been working through how to grow ourselves, and create balance and growth, and moving into our purpose. And while all of those things are important, right, we can all have a better life. If we're not careful, we will let life come at us by default as opposed to by design. And so, if we ask this simple little question, how can we let life get better? We'll begin to take ownership of our life. And so that's the point. Now, if you've been tracking with us, we've seen several areas already. We looked at fitness, and we kind of walked ourselves through those areas of fitness, emotional health, mental health, and then physical, biological health. And we ask ourselves, how can we let that get better? And then we rated ourselves honestly with where we are, number 1 to 10. Then we looked at finance, and we talked in terms of spending, of saving, investing, and of giving, because those are the 3 components of finances. And we ask ourselves, how can we let that get better? And then we rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing in the area of finance? Just be honest with yourself, right? And then we looked at field. That's that place of employment, whether it's a stay-at-home mom, student, retired, vocation, day job, but you really have a dream job that you're wanting to work toward. And we ask ourselves, how can we let that get better? And again, we rated ourselves on a 1 to 10. Where are we in the area of our field? Are we really happy? Is life going well? Could it be better, right? And so those are the questions that we've been asking ourselves. And then we looked at the area of faith, and we spent a few days looking at that. We talked in terms of having a faith and what that looks like. We talked in terms of a purpose, that God has a purpose for us, that our faith is what leads us into that purpose. We are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works that He prepared beforehand that you and I should walk in them. He's pre-planned some steps for you and me. And so as our faith grows, our ability to fulfill our purpose grows. We also talked in terms of what kind of attitude we ought to have in the area of faith. We ought to love God more. How can we let that happen? How can we let that get better? We should love others more. How do we let that get better? And so then we rated ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are we in the area of faith? Today, we're coming into the topic of family. Now, that will always elicit a ton of emotion, right? Because most of us have some dysfunction somewhere in our relationships with our family. Maybe we're it. We define family as those that are blood related to us, or by covenant, like my wife and her family. That's by covenant of marriage, that they're family. It could be by adoption, right? Where you brought someone in, and again, it's a contractual, but there's a special emphasis on that area. And so we talk in terms of family. These are the people that matter, or at least they should. And these are the ones that we expect will circle the wagons, right? I mean, these are the ones we're locking arms with. When our backs are against the wall, family who is the ones that we expect to come through. At least we want to be those kind to our family, whether they are to us or not. These people don't matter. We lean into each other. We have a commonality of our history and of our blood and mom and dad. And so while dysfunction, like I say, can sometimes creep in, we should strive to have a healthy family. There is what we call concentric circles in this family, right? I'm tightest right now at this season of life with my wife and with my kids and my grandkids. My brothers and sisters are kind of in a circle a little outside of that, although they mean the world to me. That my world is wrapped up in the others. And then I had a mom and dad at one time. They're both now in heaven, but that mattered. And those are powerful. Then I have aunts and uncles that still keep me grounded and rooted and remind me of where I've come from. And so these are powerful. This family is meant to be generationally. We may have lost that in our culture today, but we should think in terms of generation. We should welcome our grandparents. We should welcome our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. There's a history that we are swimming in a sea of blood-related people. And so we ask ourselves, how's your family? How can you let your family get better, right? So think about wherever you are in your family. Whether you're still at home and you got mom and dad, okay, so how can you let that relationship get better? Or maybe you're still at home, you got brothers and sisters. Well, how can you let that get better? Maybe you've just got a spouse right now, no kids, and you're just saying, hey, how can I let that get better? Maybe you've got kids and they're at home, and you're thinking, how can I let that get better? Or maybe you've got children that are grown and you got grandkids. How can I let that get better, right? These are the questions that we ask ourselves. Now, Tammy and I have begun to function on what we call an 80-20 rule. We call it perfectly imperfect, right? What happens in family is we tend to major on the minors, right? We let those little things irritate us, and they drive us crazy. And it tends to put wedges. But what if we were not focused on the things we don't like about those people in our family, but we really were psyched and jazzed about those things that we do love about them, right? So we celebrate the quirkiness of that old uncle. We love and cherish the free-spirited child that we have that may be difficult to discipline, but we find great joy in their personality. Not that we don't deal with the others, but that's how we do it. How can we let it get better? I would say the best way we could let things get better is to focus on the positives, right? I think there's some tangible things, right, that you and I would figure out how to unplug, right, from the world and spend more time together, right? That's important. That we set aside time weekly. We used to have, I'm outside in my hammock area right now, but we've got areas all over the backyard where we have fire pits and everything else. Man, we loved family time around that fire pit and just unplugging and talking about life. There's something about a fire and all of those things that draws out emotion and draws out honesty and things like that. So what are you doing to unplug? How can you unplug, in what way, in order to let your relationship get better? How about a meal? How many meals do you eat with your family? And there's something powerful about that. That's why we're drawn toward Thanksgivings and 4th of Julys and all the times in which we gather with family to celebrate, right? Honesty. Could you be more honest? How would life get better with your family if everyone were just a little more transparent and honest with each other? It's you can make a difference. How about openness, right? How about forgiveness, right? There's some things we've done where like I'm not letting that go. I'm going to hold on to that because it's my leverage. It's my ace in the hole. I'm going to pull it out every time I feel like I'm getting put down. I'm going to bring that up, right? How about if we just let those things go? How about just more time, intentional time? You see, those are the questions that we ask ourselves, and so we need to kind of think through those things to see kind of where we are in those areas. So if I were to ask you to rate your family, in your family, where do you see your family right now on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you pretty content with what that is, or would you say, no, we got room for improvement? Where would you put yourself? Man, I'm loving these exercises. This has been so good for me and Tam as we work through the ULA app, which is where this is coming from. We're letting you in. The app has launched, by the way, and you can get your own app, and you can join us. If you're a guy, you want to join us in a men's mastermind group, we're going to do Zoom calls coming up. I think it's in the 26th of this month. They'll be at 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock Central Time. There'll be a little bit of teaching, about 12 minutes. My friend Andy and I will be doing some of that along with some others. And then we'll break out into some little rooms where we have small groups of 7 or so and hold each other accountable. The women are doing something different than that, but there's also a small group for women too. If you think this is something that would be beneficial for you in the long term, you should check the link in the post below and just see what you think about this app. But right now, app or no app, you and me can set the course of where we want our life to go, and we can grow in these 7 areas. And so come on back Monday. We're going to look at friends, and then we'll look at fun, and then we're going to work through some other things. But man, Lord bless you. Hope you have a great weekend going. I can't wait to hear about everything going on in your world. Until then, man, you guys be blessed. Have a good weekend and a safe one, and I'll see you Monday, Lord willing.